Hello, welcome to the FridayTalkie. I have been tagged by bluetonic78. First question is, what is your favourite game from each of the last 3 generations? Now I'm guessing by last 3 generations that means not including the current generation. So I'm going to exclude Gran Turismo from my answers because it would be the obvious one. So for the PlayStation 2, Dreamcast, Xbox, I would have to say Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, because it is so huge and so... I like virtual worlds, and I like that game because I never even got out of the first area, the first city. I was crap at it, as you'd expect. I never got out of the first area, and it just didn't matter because that area is so damn huge. You know, it would take you like 20 minutes to get from one side to the other driving a car or something insane like that. And I just spent... I kind of gave up on the missions in the end and spent time doing crazy things like driving a tractor up a hill and then throwing it off the cliff onto the hut at the bottom. Really stupid things like that. And also of that generation, I would say Halo on the Xbox. Predictable, but it is just great. Generation before that, PS1, Saturn, 3DO type era, Jaguar if you want to. And N64 fits in there as well. Yeah, favourite of that generation. That is a harder one. Jumping Flash, that's it, yes. Jumping Flash on the PS1. This was the first and possibly only game that has ever really given me vertigo. I don't like heights at the best of times. It was the first real three-dimensional platform game that I'd ever played, and the heights of these platforms were just like, whoa. Yeah, it would freak me out. I loved it because I think any game that can provoke that kind of a response or mental sensation is really good. If a game can scare you or make you nervous or edgy or feel sick, it's a good game. Previous generation of that, 16-bit, so Mega Drive, SNES, Amiga. Yes, I would have to say Jeff Crummins' Formula 1 Grand Prix is just so awesome, and I spent so many nights playing that with... I had these 2 friends, both of them called Paul, which made for an interesting set of conversations. They would both come round on I can't remember what night it was, probably Friday night, and we would play 3-player, and you would take turns on it, and we would spend all night, and we did a whole season doing full race distance races, and we spent months just doing this full season. Awesome game. So, okay, next question. What is your favourite controller ever? This is actually predictable. Very predictable. That. PS3 controller, DualShock 2. I've loved the Sony's controllers ever since the first DualShock. To me, I have small hands. I know Bluetonic said, you know, you found these a bit too small. I don't. I have small hands. These are perfect, and I like that the analog sticks are parallel with each other. I hate having certain other controllers, the Nintendo GameCube one and certainly the Xbox One, where you've got like analog there, D-pad there, another analog up there, and I'm like, no, I want them parallel. And your D-pad is in exactly the same place as it was on the original PS1 pad. You know, nothing... It's the same as even... the layout is the same as the SNES pad. You take away the analogs and it's basically a SNES pad with extra bits bunged on. Fantastic. Perfect. Could not ask for better. Everything does exactly what I want, where I want. Can't fault it ever. There is a pad, well no, controller that comes a very close second. And it's completely the opposite, because whereas that has lots of controls and is very well designed ergonomically, there's a word, my second favourite, that. Ha! Ergonomics are not a factor. Plenty of controls, not a factor. You know, up, down, left, right, diagonals, fire. That's your lot. Unless you've got one of the early ones with the micro switches, which I do have, but this isn't. The responsiveness is questionable, and they do break, because I have done that even while recording videos. But I love them. I love the simplicity of it, and they are just iconic. If you're an old git like me, video games meant joysticks. There were no D-pads, joypads, anything like that. Where have I heard that before? It meant joysticks, and if you were talking joysticks, you invariably meant one of these. This was gaming. You know, there was a time people would say, people now say, have you got a games console? Back when I were a lad, cue Hovis music, you didn't say, have you got a games console? You said, have you got an Atari? And that meant these. Awesome. Love them. Alright. Third question. If I could see one game remade from the past 3 generations, what would it be and why? From the 16-bit era, and I mean you could go all the way back to 8-bit, but Atari Star Wars, I would like that to be remade. I mean, my favourite version that I've got of it, excluding MAME, is Star Wars, the Atari Star Wars. I think Domark did the conversion on the Commodore Amiga. It's fantastic, love it. I would love to see that remade on PS3 or whatever. I know you can get at it somewhere, I think it's on a GameCube game, but I don't have that and I don't like GameCubes. So yes, I would like that, but they would have to make a custom controller. I don't know how, I don't care, but you need the proper arcadey controller with the tilting doofers and the turny thing, and yes, that would be it for me. I mean, it's a bit of a cop-out of an answer, because I mean the arcade one is from like 8-bit era. That's what we were playing at home when that was out, but I've got it on a 16-bit machine, so no. I want that remade, please. Sony or someone, Atari, as such as they are now. Star Wars, PS3, gimme. I don't tag people, so I'm leaving this as an open tag. If you want to do a response, by all means do. Right then, ordinarily at this time I would be doing a shout out for someone's channel, but today it's shameless self-promotion time. I want to show you my website, as knowing I have a lot of new subscribers, some of you may not be aware of this site or what it's all about, and I've got some new stuff on it as well. Mainly it is about collecting retro gaming stuff and showing off my collection. Okay, yeah, so you've got your vintage home computer section here. All of these machines are computers in my collection, and you can click through to them and get a page with information about each machine. You got stats there. Sometimes I put videos in on some pages. I will have done a more thorough history on some of them. I'm working my way through so that I will do like a thorough article on each one. All of them have got specifications and blah blah. Also, all of them have got a section here saying buy an Atari 600XL for sale on eBay. This is a sponsored link. If you click that and buy something, I get a very small percentage, very small. You've also got this section here, which is a nice graphical widget for buying them. This section is for Americans. That is aimed at the American market. You've got another bit up here aimed at the British market. These links here are region specific. If you're in an English speaking country, this will open up an eBay, a customized eBay search for eBay in your region. You've got sections on emulating that particular machine, and also another link there, buy games for whatever machine. Yeah, so you've got the computers, you've got the same thing with consoles, handhelds again, same thing. Yes, here we go. And you've got a bit of specifications mostly on these. I don't think there's an awful lot about that, and a little bit of information, links for buying them, also what you would expect to pay. Now that also comes, I've got a whole section on price guides. Quite a few people say, I've got this blah blah machine, what's it worth? And I've done a price guide which I've come by these prices just by watching eBay. Now none of these are definitive. You might find machines like an Atari Jaguar CD attachment, £130 plus. Now that's based on the kind of prices I've seen these selling for in the UK. You can't take these prices as being remotely accurate in another country, because even with exchange rates, different machines have different levels of rarity in different countries. It gives you a rough idea of what you could expect to pay for something that's not necessarily boxed, but is working and does have all the necessary leads and power supplies. You can get stuff cheaper, but it won't necessarily have everything that you need. You could also get stuff cheaper at a car boot sale, but this is entirely aimed at eBay. Now, also about eBay, I've got a section on advice for people who are buying and selling. Basically how not to get ripped off and how to get the best deal, what kind of things to look for. Things like, do not be tempted to put rare in your description unless you truly know what you are talking about, blah blah blah. It's good advice. If you're buying or selling, it is good advice. To some people who use eBay a lot, it will be completely obvious. To those who don't, and there are a lot of people who are not really familiar with how eBay works, it is good advice. There is this bit, more collectors. This is the YouTube retro gaming community. We've got some featured collectors. This is videos by collectors on YouTube. If they've done a video specifically of their whole collection or a large chunk of their collection, they've got their own page here. And also there is the directory of the YouTube retro gaming community. Everyone I can find on YouTube who is actively participating, making videos about retro gaming in some way, shape or form, I have put them in here. It is very large. If you're doing videos, you can get listed here as well. There is a link to click that will take you to the video that tells you what you need to do. Now, there is a link, yes, a page, other retro site, retro gaming related sites, all well worth checking out. Now here's the new bit, t-shirts. I have got a retro gaming collector t-shirt and mug store. If you're at all familiar with my slogan, some of those you can have it on a t-shirt. It's not a walkthrough, playthrough, review, anything like that, on a t-shirt, and you can have it in black or white or numerous other colours that will probably look quite hideous. These ones cost £12.30. It is as cheap as I can possibly make them and still make anything at all from them. Yeah, I think it's a horrendous price. It's not my fault. More here. It's just me playing the game badly, so you can see what it looks like. More here. Retro gaming collector. I remember when all this was Invaders. You'll have heard the old men saying, I remember when all this was Fields. Well, if you're a retro gamer, you'll remember when all this was Invaders, because that was all you could play. Oh yes, the retro gaming collector mug. I remember when, and I didn't fill in the rest. Yeah. £10.60. Ridiculous. Bleh, ridiculous. You would have to be a mug to buy this mug, but I just wanted to put one there just so it would be more than just a t-shirt store. And then we have some long sleeved t-shirts as well. It just says retro gaming collector on them. So, you know, it's not strictly related to my site. Retro gaming collector, that's what you are. You might want to wear one. You might not. £15.30. Again, I wish they were cheaper. I'm not making a fortune on these. If you were to buy one, I would make a very small amount, but you might want to buy 10, please, of each. Okay, yeah, there we go. Shameless self-promotion. I will be adding lots and lots and lots of stuff here. Stupidly expensive, beyond my control as far as the pricing is concerned. I make them as cheap as I possibly can. There it is. It is my website. You might find it interesting. I have also forgotten there are gaming videos as well. You will find all of these on YouTube. So far I've just done my really old ones. If you've never seen my really old stuff, it's there. I will be working my way through so that everything I've ever done game video wise will be here with extra information wherever I can find it.